New York City Police Detective Farrell O'Farrell was dog-tired. He was finishing up an 18-hour shift during which he'd had to race on foot from 41st Street to the Bowery to run down and pummel into submission a white trash meth dealer. Then he'd gotten into a bloody 45-minute firefight with a firefighter, had wild kinky sex with a Romanian hooker while trying to get the story on a Russian gangster boss, then used his rock climbing skills to scale the first 28 floors of the Empire State Building, to pluck a buck-naked hippie exhibitionist off a ledge and clamber back down with the guy in his back. What with all the running and screwing and hippie hoisting, well, he smelled awful. But now here was his police radio springing to life with a hated voice of Captain Quartz, his boss.
Get off your butter, Farrell, you lazy Mick, and get over to 23rd and Central in Flatbush. We got a gasoline truck explosion and some street-fighting bikers in front of a Starbucks.
But I'm off duty in 10 minutes, sir.
And I'll be off the can in 30. Time and a half, O'Farrell. You can buy a lot of Guinness Stout with that.
Farrell bared his teeth at the cloudy Manhattan skies, fired up the engine of his cruiser, and headed toward the bridge, sprinkling a big pile of cocaine from a salt shaker onto the back of his hand and snorting it up. That meth was wearing off.
What do you think I'm gonna give you a break when you just take and take? I'm gonna take you down. No heat is hotter than. Maybe your mama last summer got some blunt from a runner-up in 718. I know about it, I'm the buster that bust. Cuss me out, cause I must bust in early May. Go ahead and murder out your ride, block it out, I don't mind. You can possibly go clubbing at the place. I'm in your face if you cross the line anytime. Don't forget my homie James Joyce, my DA of Joyce. He used to mix it up, funk it up, and throw down. Finnegan's Wake, it was woke. Oh.
By the time he reached Central and 21st, he was back in control, except for when he plowed into the burnt hulk of the gasoline truck. No problem. He gunned into reverse before his wheels could catch fire. Where was that damn Starbucks anyway? He found it 2 blocks farther down. Central and 23rd, that sounded familiar. Lots of police cruisers with flashing lights, too. Something must have happened here. Something bad. He needed a cup of coffee to deal with it. Inside, waiting on his caramel macchiato, a cop approached him.
We've got one of those bikers in a booth, Detective.
Bikers? What's this about bikers?
Didn't Captain Quartz tell you?
No, he just said something about a fight between some bikers. The cop looked confused.
Maybe you ought to talk to this guy.
Why? We can't kick his ass here. Let's take him downtown.
Don't you want to ask him a couple of questions first?
Ask who a couple of questions?
The guy in the booth.
A good idea. They called him for his macchiato. He downed half of it in one gulp. By the time he reached the booth, he was back in control. The suspect looked like he'd been through a grinder, but tough enough to break some of its gears. He looked like he could take care of himself, maybe even handle a bizarre fictional narrative in the first person. Farrell could care less. He took out his Coke shaker, unscrewed the top, emptied its contents into his macchiato, tilted his head back, and poured the rest of the coffee up his nose.